Sup nerds, Tom here.
I'm Wes.
And we're going to be talking about spoilers for Shy Pluto for Space Base. Let's do it.
So many spoilers.
Like 6 spoilers.
If you haven't seen our thoughts on Space Base, definitely check that out. We'll have card links and all kinds of stuff. Check that one out. For the Shy Pluto expansion, it kind of gives you like a campaign to play. You get these 12 story cards that have like thematics of why things are happening, but it's not like pandemic legacy levels of story. It's like you kind of follow a story and they give you things, but basically each card adds a new type of card or a new mechanic to the game, and it has like a do this to beat this card, and once that card is beat, you draw the next card. So you can go through multiple cards in one game if, like, you know, the first half of the game you finish card 1 and then you immediately get card 2 done and then you're at card 3. So it's not like there's at least 12 games, it's you have 12 objectives and you can complete multiple in a single game.
Full disclosure, we didn't actually go through the whole story mode. Because you don't have to. You could just open them up and take in all these different modules. And they aren't even really modules. So a lot of them are just cards. Mm-hmm. The first, like, 3 or 4 or something is just add more cards to the deck. And with this in the story mode, we read through the story mode, it does have a little bit of, like, you play with them specifically first, and then they get shuffled into the deck because it'll say, like, you throw the cards out there on the table. They're available for purchase or they're available to obtain if you roll these dice or whatever. And then you get them that way. But then it says for subsequent games that you just shuffle them on in. And I have to say, guys, that's the way I want to play this expansion. It says Saga Expansion 1. If they do a Saga Expansion 2, I would love to play it. But I'd probably do that same thing. I'm just at the point where I just don't really care about these legacy, campaign, or really story-based games. Like, with this option, though, this option is great. Like, the fact that we could
either or.
Yeah, so we just pulled it out and we just played with a bunch of the modules, mixed pretty much everything in together, and played it. And that's great. That's what I want. If you want to sell this with some mystery and then you get to play a story where you unbox these mystery boxes and go, whoa, look, small dice, these tokens, ooh, cool. That's great. Go for it. I just don't have the time to do that anymore. And really, also, the magic for me kind of is gone. I don't know. I feel like some things in like Pandemic Legacy Season 1, there were a few times when I was like, whoa! Mm-hmm. But then but after a while I'm like, okay, I get it. There's some twists to the story and there's some cool things, but like, come on, I just want to play a game.
I also like I like legacy games and stories and campaigns more than you do. But I also think that the story and campaign here is fairly light. It's not like the Pandemic like told a story in Season 2, like there's things about Season 2 that you're like, oh my gosh, in Season 1 we were doing this, and now that, like, and it was kind of cool to, like, figure all that out. It's not this as much, even just because, like, thematically, this game is not, like, it's a cool artwork and stuff, and it fits, but it's not like, I'm building my fleet, and now we're over here, and now we're fighting this guy.
Yeah.
The only thing about this game that can't just be all tossed in at once is the World Eater. And he's a dude that you have to fight using these little spaceship tokens. And there's cards out there that give you more of these spaceship tokens. And the way it works is you have a handful of these red die. And every time something is rolled.
The black die. The black die gets rolled with the blue.
Yeah, and every time it shows one of the monster faces on it, you're going to roll the 5 of these red die. 5 sides are blank, and 1 side has something on it, whether it be income or money or victory points. So everything that's showing, you can spend one of these tokens to reap all of that, so you could get a bunch of stuff. Or if you don't spend a token, you lose everything. So the swing there is pretty extreme, because you could get, like, 2 income, a victory point, and 5 money, and the other person could lose it. That's huge. And every time a token is spent, even if there's 3 tokens, it's only once, you move the tick up the World Eater, and to beat him, you have to get it all the way to the end. And in a single game. So thematically, you keep playing until you can spend enough of these tokens to beat him. Which is cool. Once you have finished the campaign and just adding everything together. You don't use the World Eater or the black die at all. But these tokens and those dice are one of my favorite things about this.
You could still use the World Eater.
But you couldn't do the other dice thing. Like, you could go back and play him again.
Yeah, he is not... If this entire... All the modules in here can be played all together with the exception of him.
Correct. With the last two, you either play with the World Eater or you play with the Shy Pluto, and you have to pick which one you're playing with. I definitely like Shy Pluto better.
It is so cool. So much fun. With all these little dice, and there are like starter ones that come out there, but now they're like in a market that you can buy, and you roll on everybody's turn, or actually I think you only roll it on opponent's turn in a larger player game, yeah. But just the fact that you have all these extra die, there's only one side where anything happens, so you're going to roll an awful lot of blanks, but every time you get, like, look right there, boom, 3 income, holy crap, that is a huge jump. That's so important. Like, these things, and it, and also, like, you need to make sure that those cards that get you these, because that's pretty much the only way you get them is from cards. Those need to be pretty prevalent. So those cards are actually, when you're fighting with the World Eater, those cards are out. They're like on the table already, and they're just able to buy. I would recommend that with these little token cards, shuffle those into like the top half of each of these decks or something. Because if one person happens to get a couple and the other person just can't because they're not out there, that would really suck because it's a pretty big swipe.
It's kind of like if one person just gets all the income cards and the other person just can't get one. Mm-hmm. Like, the game's going to suck for you because you're always starting at like 0 money and your opponent's starting at like 8, 10, 15 money, and there's just no way to catch up to that. The same way that, like, the dice, you know, you could roll blanks the whole game. Yeah. But if you're rolling 5 dice and they all show face, and, like, that's huge on top of everything else you're getting. The other cool thing you can get is, it's kind of like those little dice, but there are certain cards that if they activate, you get to roll these clear die, and that's things that only you get to use. And it's not going to be every turn, it's just when that activates. But it's another set of dice that you can activate more things with. And your opponents don't get to use these, but you also can't use them to attack opponents. If it's anything that affects another player, you can't activate it. But if you're getting these ship tokens or getting income or getting money, and you get basically to roll again, like, that can be another really fun and big thing in the game.
I will be honest, though, that some of the new cards, these little dice things, when you play with everything all together, they almost get overshadowed by these things. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, there's some cool things like the diagonal cards will let you... They kind of suck when you have them... when you're using the blue face, so that they point up to the red card adjacent, or when they're over here, they point down to the blue card. That's a lot better, because the blue abilities are generally better.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. That's really cool. Like, oh crap, so now I'm going to buy this and really want to upgrade it real fast so that I have a really dope upgraded card up here. That's pretty cool. Or the one that, like, lets you use the card to the right and then 2 cards over. Right. Like, again, those are cool.
They're not mind-blowing, though, because it's just, this is a mechanic that already existed, and we tweaked it a little bit, so instead of using that card, you use that card.
Yeah, or... like if they came out with a mini expansion that was just a pack of cards, and it was those cards, I would be like, I don't know if I need that.
I need it, because I need everything.
Right, but I'll be like, that's the last thing I'll buy.
Yeah, but definitely, the addition of these little dice is the best thing about this expansion, and I think that just for that addition... this is worth buying. Whether you want to do the story or not, whether you're just going to throw everything in, it's worth it to get this just because these dice make this game so much fun.
And I think another really big reason why this is great is because you don't have to do the story. If you shy away from legacy or campaign games the way that I do now, then seriously, don't shy away from this. I mean, first of all, we already spoiled everything.
Shy Pluto, so you're shying away.
But I mean, hey, we already spoiled everything, so you can't really do the story mode anyway, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it. We're going to put purchase links to this game in the description box down below, and the base game, and Command Station if it's available, so go give us money, buy stuff.
And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring that bell, like the video,
smash that like button,
put a comment
share it on Facebook
all that.
and Twitter, send it to your grandma, and subscribe so you'll never be bored. Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And we're going to talk spoilers for Space Base, baby. Let's do it.
Especially the Shy Pluto.
Yeah. Okay, one more.
Yeah.